Hello everybody and welcome to day 2 of the intuitive upgrade, a 21-day challenge, which basically really means that you're coming back home to who you are, remembering who you are and embracing your own intuition. So it's time to turn it up. So what I'll be doing every day is intuitively, that is the word, jumping in and really riffing about what I'm feeling in the collective energy and what I'm feeling within this group of beings, because we are a collective energy, right? So what I want to talk to you about today is intelligence versus wisdom, and how our intuitive upgrading, how that is connected to this. Now, we have been conditioned in this world to use intelligence to get ahead. Now, if you guys are jumping on, please come and say hello, introduce yourself. Don't leave me just hanging here. And also, if you're watching a replay, let me know. #replay, so I know who is watching. I know who is here. Intelligence and wisdom are two different things, and this is quite interesting when we're looking at the polarity of the world, especially in the day and age that we're in right now, in this time-space dimension that we are in, because we are starting to question everything about intuition, woo-woo, the divine feminine, masculine energies, action taking. You know, it was only not that long ago that us women started being able to vote, and we started calling ourselves, you know, mum-entrepreneurs, and we started calling ourselves, you know, super mums, because not only were we starting to work as mums, we realized that we had choices to stay in relationships, to leave them. We also realized that we could not just work and have a household, we could also have a side hustle. So of course, it had never been done before, to our knowledge, with our ancestors anyway, because it was kind of like that mum staying at home or working on the farm, and there was always, mum's always busy, don't get me wrong, but we kind of came into this whole, hang on a minute, if they can create that, if these men can create this money and they have all this say, you know, we've got this creative energy as well, and we are ready to show up as who we are. And we kind of somewhere got stuck in the dimension, the mindset dimension of we require our intelligence to get us there. And although that is true, we're now coming into the paradigm of intuition, psychic abilities, using our intuitive wisdom, our deep knowing, the deep I am, who we truly are, and going, actually this whole like hustle thing, this busy thing, it's not as fun as I thought it would be. We finally got somewhere as women. We got to the point where we have choice, we can vote, we can be the super mum, and then we started hitting burnout, right? I get a lot of people coming to me saying they've hit burnout, and I personally have too. You know, pop it in the comments, have you hit burnout? Do you feel like you're in burnout now? And what I mean by burnout is pure exhaustion. The mind has taken over and you never can seem to get ahead, right? Burnout looks like different for different people, of course, but for me it was a deep depression. So intellect, intelligence versus wisdom, what is that? Okay, so from my childhood, from where I'm like nearly 38, so in this kind of generation, I can speak from my own experience, it was very much you go to university and you learn if you've got the intellect, and then, you know, you can make money. For me, that was never a thing. I was never going to be rich. I was never going to be, I was never really going to make it in the world of being an entrepreneur. It was definitely not on the radar, because I was average. I wasn't highly intelligent like a lot of people are at school, what we call, you know, the intellectual people, the good spellers, the A+ students. I was more of a CD student. I was more creative, you know. I did well in art, and I did well in sewing and stuff like that, which I didn't really like that, but at least I got to design things. But the truth of the matter is, I'm one of the most, you know, gifted, intelligent people I know, and I am really successful. And that didn't come from the intellect of intelligence. That came from the deep wisdom. So where people are trying to outsmart other people with their intellect, You know those people that I'm talking about, like you're talking to somebody and you know that they're smart, like they're kind of book smart, and no matter what you say, they're going to use words and you're going to feel dumb and stupid and you're going to go, okay, whatever, and you can't win. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you guys ever experienced this? Someone just like bringing you down because they're more intelligent than you, even though you know that, you know that you're right within your soul, within your heart, for whatever the situation. The intelligence of that person can be quite intimidating, and we as a society have kind of gone, you know what, go to school, go to university, that's how you make money, that is how you get somewhere in life, but none of that stuff brings you joy or happiness. Wisdom brings you joy and happiness. So where are we shutting down our intuition and our wisdom because we have been taught that being intelligent is much more important in this reality, because this reality is about survival. And right now, right here in 2021, is that point of view, that consideration, that judgment, is that still relevant? What is coming up for you? Have you been fighting with your intelligence versus your wisdom? Now, don't get confused with the words that I'm using. They are simply words. Intelligent meaning book smart, meaning PhDs, meaning, psychology, meaning lawyers, and, all of those things. And then wisdom meaning a deep knowing within your soul, within your cells, a faith, a real grounding with who you are. Now, of course, this is this polarity as well as what we see. Now, we can be intelligent and be wise, but when we are trying as a society and as a human race to outsmart the wise, when we're trying to do that, it's never going to work, because it's the energy behind what we are truly putting out in the world. When we're coming from a wisdom, a deep knowing, a deep contentment, a peace, coming home to yourself, like I talked about in day one, what actually happens is, intelligence is not actually required. And there's so much proof of this. Now, if you think of Buddha, if you think of Jesus, if you think of even our grandparents, some might say my grandmother was very wise. But back then, they didn't have cell phones. We have so much content in our life. We are so intelligent. Even the people these days that don't seem too intelligent are highly intelligent and know so much more than what people knew back in the day, because of the content, because of the information. I'm sure my 8-year-old child and a 6-year-old actually know more information from YouTube than my grandmother knew. So obviously there's different layers and levels of this. But what I'm trying to say here is, back then, the success that people were having was from the wisdom, not from the intelligence. Of course, we have people like Einstein, who was super intelligent. He was super book smart and super wise. Of course, we talk about quantum physics and science and all of these different things, but then they all come together. So he was starting to put them together, like with, time, space, all those different things. That stuff that's super interesting. But where are we right now, referring to you, where are we using our intelligence to try and outsmart our wisdom? And the reason why this is all channeling through me is because this is something that I have done a lot of my life, and I'm sure some of you have as well. So if you're jumping on, please say hello. If you're hashtag replay, I'm doing this for you to share. So I would really love the love back, please. So please make sure you do jump on and say hello. So intelligence can never outsmart wisdom, because wisdom is a deep grounding and setting. And quite often when our intelligence tries to take over, our mind tries to take over the soul, that type of energy is what I'm trying to convey here. What actually happens is we end up getting in a big confusing knot, because the knot is our brain trying to figure it out. The reason why I went from, broke to making money really fast is because I went deep within, and any incredible coach would tell you this, It's not the stuff that you're learning. Now, sometimes we have to get given the tools to implement, but it's that wisdom of coming back into your knowing, because that knowing is already there. So what I'm going to ask you to do is come back to your presence, just like I did yesterday. Come back to your presence and feel yourself on the ground and take a deep breath. Drop all your barriers, expand out. Put your hands on your heart and say, I am willing to receive my wisdom. I am willing to receive my deep knowing. I am willing to receive myself as I am. And I want you to acknowledge, be aware of all of the intelligent people around you. Sometimes they can seem quite intimidating, especially if you're like me and you're dyslexic and you don't know what words they're saying. I go, can you just like Victoriafy that, like speak in English? And and notice them. And notice, are they wise just because they are intelligent? Now, they talk about people being stupid. What does stupid mean? Does that mean unconscious? Like, I kind of see it as unconscious. Or does it kind of mean that people are stupid because they aren't intellectually book smart? Now, what Gary Douglas says in Access Consciousness is have an allowance for the stupid people. Now, what you'll notice if you go through this process of awakening, of this intuitive upgrade, and if you can hear what I'm saying in this vortex, is that you'll start noticing that there's a lot of people around you that are asleep. A lot of people that are asleep right now. And there could be your parents that are asleep. Your partner might be partially asleep. Everybody, to a certain extent, is unconscious in different areas, but some are like overall unconscious and some are overall kind of awake. So there's these different kind of levels depending on what they're choosing, how much wisdom they actually really want to tap into. So you'll notice when you're walking down the street, and I just want you to notice this and be aware. This is not a judgment. This is an actual observation. Firstly, are you functioning from unawareness and unconsciousness in the things that you're doing? So that's why yesterday we discussed what can you drop and what can you add in to do that physical mindset thing. But secondly, I want you to be aware and the observer of those people around you. And where are they asleep and unconsciously doing things? Where are they basically going onto automatic pilot? A lot of people have breakdowns before their awakening because they need that big jolt to wake up and go, whoa, there's more to life than this everyday kind of hustle. It's coming back to that wisdom, and the Buddha and the Jesus and the grandparents back in the day. They had a simple life. I'm sure there was busy times, of course, but simple can be wise. Breathing is simple, yet is potent. Outsmarting somebody or letting somebody outsmart you because of their intellect and then feeling really, really small and going, I'm so stupid. And this is what I was talking about with the conversation yesterday. Those words that you're using about yourself, you're being unconscious about your wisdom. We all have intuitive gifts. We all have these gifts that if we tap into them and we know the essence and the core of ourselves, the mediumship, the intuition, the listening gift, the hearing gift, the being gift, the holding space, the healing gift. All of these gifts, we do all have them, but we do have unconscious behaviors. Someone said yesterday they didn't think that they had any money stuff coming up. They do, because there's always another layer. A lot of people say to me they don't have any money issues, and they're usually the people that have the money issues. A lot of people say that they don't have any problems at all or any blocks. And I'm like, can you coach me? Because the coaches that I know are wise enough to know that there's always a deeper level and it comes up to be cleared. So when chaos arises, when the shadow arises and we see the shadow with our wisdom, we can actually see it and go, oh, wow, okay, cool. So maybe I've got something I require to work on. And then you go deep within. Does this belong to me? Have I picked this up from somebody else? What is my truth about this now? So that's why I said to you guys at the beginning, have you had the point of view that you've got to be book smart and intelligent to make it in the world? I had that point of view, and then it stopped being relevant when I realized that my superpowers really help people and that I love doing them. I love being a reader. I love being a healer. Last night on my magnificent mediumship, we went to the moon, and we connected with beings, and light language was coming out, you know, and some of the people in my vortex love that. They love that because they feel the shifts. That is my gift, and intelligence cannot actually explain what that is. So if you're jumping on, please let me know you're here and say hello. I can't actually see the comments. And if anyone has any questions, pop them in as well. I can get back to them later because I love interacting. So intelligence and wisdom, what are you choosing? Doesn't mean you can't have both, but make sure that the wisdom that you're holding within your heart, within your soul, within your knowing comes first. Choosing you first and knowing that if a question comes up for you, like when we're talking about the money thing, because I talk about money because money triggers people. I've got a money masterclass coming up, a free one as well, because over 50 people said yes to that. So yeah, put in the comments if you want a money masterclass coming in a few weeks. I love doing free stuff. It's so much fun. So yeah, when a question comes to you, rather than going into, I must use my intelligence to prove something to this person, whether it's a coach, whether it's a partner, whether it's a friend, instead of doing that, come into your wisdom. It's not about proving. It's actually about going, what do I know to be true for me? As a society, we tend to be on the co or narc scale, which is a whole nother training. But at the end of the day, we either go into, you know, expectations of somebody, or prove it to me, or I'm not good enough. So you do one or the other. You do outwards or you kind of do inwards, and usually, you know, partners, depending on where they are in the scale, it could just be low level. Like I'm codependent, right? So I've had to learn how to not be so codependent. I've had to learn how to trust my wisdom of who I am and not have to go to the external for people to validate me. So when we're going to other people for validation, when we are kind of in that proving mode, then what actually happens is we are functioning from more of the intellect and the mindset, and rather than coming back into the knowing and the wisdom, because intelligence, wisdom doesn't require intelligence. All it requires is knowing and being. Now, if you look at a baby, if you look at, you know, a 3-year-old says things to you and you're like, oh my gosh, what comes out of a babe's mouth, you know, wisdom. Wisdom. They haven't even learnt anything yet. Or an old lady's mouth. It's not intelligence. You know, my grandmother, I don't know when she's just turned 93, and I don't know when she quit school. But you know, she's wise, and she says, just do what makes you happy. Wisdom, it comes with age. It's got nothing to do with intelligence. So where are you functioning from right now, and where are you playing this out in your life? That if I'm just smart enough, if I just do that course, if I just get one more qualification, if I just prove I can make that amount of money, if I can just do this, if I can just do more work to make more money, then everything will be okay. If you're functioning from that, that's not intuition. If you're functioning from that, it is more 3D. And it's not your fault, because we've been conditioned, of course, in this collective energy. So coming into this 5D is coming into the wisdom. And it doesn't matter if you're 3, 30, or, you know, like 73 or 93. It doesn't matter. When you come into your wisdom, everything around you could disappear. Everything, your house could be completely burned down. You could lose absolutely everything. And I'm not saying you wouldn't be upset about it, because that would just be really kind of, it's just not appropriate. But in your deep knowing and knowing and knowing that if all your content was gone, you would be okay. When you die, you will be okay. You just won't have a body. You know, where if we're using intelligence, we're going to go, oh my God, you know, how can I avoid all of this? And try to use your brain and start maybe obsessing about death. But a wise person would be like, when my time comes, I'll be ready, because I know who I am. So do you know who you are? Do you know what your purpose is? How do you use your intuition? Do you use it or do you ignore it? Do what makes you happy as a job. Never work a day in your life if it's happy work, my uncle told me. Yeah, absolutely. And we thank you for that, Helen, because we actually have to take the point of view as well that we're allowed to be paid to be us. You know, this is my job and I get to talk to people and connect to like-minded people. How grateful am I? You know, and I get to, everything I do, I love, 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 love. And I still have to pinch myself to say, did I create this reality? Did I create a reality where my wisdom and being me helps me get paid? What if you could get paid for being you? Now the intelligence, the mind comes in and goes, oh, you got to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G to get paid to be you. But the wisdom will be like, you've already got this. You already know what to do. So what resources do you have right now that you could actually put to use? Because we've been given everything we require. We've got like, I've got a cell phone. You're on a cell phone stick right now. I made my first 15K by using my cell phone. And my phone was taped onto the back of a kid's chair. And I carry it around and I push play, you know. I don't even have a selfie stick yet. I'm in the process of getting one. So, yeah, what do you know about wisdom and intelligence, and where are you dismissing your wisdom? We sometimes dismiss our wisdom because we think, oh, well, you know, I don't know everything. You know, when people go, well, you don't know everything, you know, and they might say you might be a little kid and you get shut down, you know, if we are still trying to function from, I need more to fill in the holes, to fill in the gaps. Sometimes it's relevant. Like, obviously I have coaches and I get coaches because I want support and accountability, and every now and then there's a few gaps that need to be filled, and they can give me the information because I've done what I want to do. But that's completely different than filling all of your pockets up with, you know, all of these different modalities and more and more and more. It's not going to do anything at all. What will do is that deeper wisdom of going, who am I? What do I really desire? Why am I here? And what can I do every day to bring me joy and happiness and wealth and health? What can I do every day for joy, wealthiness, and healthiness? I don't even know if they're words. Whatever. You get the gist. So let me know what that is for you. And what we're going to do now is just put your feet on the ground. And I've actually cleansed my crystals into the full moon. And I've got some, I'm all about the amethyst at the moment. I want you to, you know, grab a crystal or just visualize, tap into the crystal that I've got now. I want you to breathe in wisdom and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in wisdom from all of the energy around you and breathe out gratitude. Now pull in wisdom from all the trees and everything else outside of you, all the nature, and breathe out gratitude. Be willing to receive, because we're starting to shift the energy now. I want you to breathe in wisdom into your heart, into your tummy, and breathe out gratitude. I want you to feel the wisdom coming from the earth all the way up through your feet, and let it go through your entire body and at the top of your head and right out to the universe. So it's just an energy coming up through your feet, through your body, at the top of your head, through to the universe, connecting to the universe and allowing it, the energy stream to go both ways, so you can get information from the universe and from the earth and be a contribution. Allowing yourself to be supported, closing your eyes if you're nice and comfortable, and just breathing in wisdom, breathing out gratitude, and allowing yourself to sink into relaxation. I am wisdom. Wisdom is within me. And anything that comes my way, I know that I will have the answers within. I'm just holding up my crystals here. I have wisdom that is deep within myself, and I know who I am. You knew who you are when you were 3. You still know who you are. You may have a couple of filters that you require to shift, but are you willing to shift them? Are you willing to show up and be who you are in your wiseness, in your kindness? Wise doesn't tell people what they have to do. Wise people do not pinpoint to other people where they are wrong. Wise just is. So when we are functioning from our wisdom, we are not in judgment. We are not intellectually trying to figure out the next move. We just are. And the most amazing thing happens when you're functioning from wisdom and this inner knowing, this inner peace, the inner you. The most amazing thing happens is this beautiful energy that we have that is right now going from the universe right through to the earth and vice versa, going up from the earth all the way up our bodies to the universe. What actually happens there is we start getting information from the earth, from the universe, from the beings that drops in through our crown and comes into this beautiful divine body, right? Into our being as well. So we get these drop-ins, these downloads, which I like to call it, and we integrate even more wisdom. So then when we have to make decisions, we instantly know the answers, you know. So this is where your intuition turns up. Now, intellectually, if you're trying to figure out how to be wise, it just doesn't work the same, because it doesn't have that calmness, because you're truly not with yourself. You're in your head trying to figure out the content, right? And we're in this world of content right now. We're in this world of content. Hence why I gave up TV yesterday, right? So what do you know about your inner wisdom, and when was the last time you felt truly wise? It's not here to save people. We're here to be. And if we be, and if we tap into our knowing, you know that gut, that feeling that you had when you just knew you shouldn't have gone on that road trip, or you just knew that whatever you were about to do was like not the best kind of move, and people were going, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. You know, what's the worst that could happen? Come on, you want to do this. And you're like, damn it, I knew I shouldn't have gone. I knew I shouldn't have gone. I had that gut. Or there was somebody in you might have dated somebody, or there might have been a friend, and you just had this inkling, and you're like, don't be so silly. On paper, it all makes sense. So you actually overtook the wisdom by the intellect, which really was, was your mind trying to figure it out rather than your gut, because your gut and your wisdom doesn't necessarily always make sense, but it sees the bigger picture. So what I'm trying to say is, if you come back into you and you're like, I've got my crystals, I'm like, I am wise, I'm breathing in wisdom from all the information around me, and I'm breathing out love and gratitude for the wisdom. Being in wisdom means being in gratitude, by the way, as well. There's no room for fear. So when we are being this, we get the information we need. That is intuition. Intuition is the knowing of the deeper self and listening to your gut, even though your head doesn't make sense. So let me know if this is making sense for you guys. So I'm just going to put down my crystals here. Quite often I use my selenite, and I'll just hold it. I always have it next to my computer when I'm doing this type of stuff because of the connection. And it's a real wisdom crystal. You know, it helps to connect with intuition and the crown chakra. So I allow myself to open up to awareness, and I allow myself to have allowance. Because when I talked about the stupid people, we're talking about people that are not choosing consciousness. And it's not being mean, but it's really going, okay, well, sometimes there's a lot of like stupid, intelligent people, right? So, but we don't seem to get stupid, wise people. So we can do stupid things, but we have to have allowance of people that are not choosing consciousness, because if we don't, then we go into judgment, and judgment is lower vibrational. So, I loved it. One of the girls, I don't know if she's on here, she said that she's picked up that she talks about people. So do we mindlessly talk about people just to create drama? Where are we doing mindless things that are not wise, right? So a lot of us have a deep, deep wisdom. Like I say, it doesn't matter what age you are. And it's time to tap into that, because, you know, the whole hustle bustle, mum side hustle and super mum thing. That paradigm has shifted now, and it's more of, I come home to me with my wisdom. I choose myself. I breathe in wisdom. I breathe out gratitude. I breathe it in, and I receive the information from the universe and from the earth and from all of those things around me. Really interesting when you actually start integrating the stuff, what can actually happen with the signs and synchronicities. A quick example is, I just went to my tattoo chick and got a tattoo, and it's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours to get this tattoo done. And she was talking about her best friend Gemma, and her best friend Gemma has just gone on a retreat, and she was messaging Gemma. And I go, that's interesting. I was just talking to my friend Gemma, and we were just talking about doing a retreat. And then we looked at each other and laughed. I said, oh, I would just picked up on the name, Gemma and Gemma. But we're both talking about doing a retreat. So that's a synchronicity. You know, people would call it a coincidence. There is no coincidences. And we laughed because every time we're together, we go into this vortex, my tattoo artist and I, into this vortex of, whoa, like galactic stuff and signs and synchronicities and all that type of stuff. So, you will notice more of these things, and they become less, oh my God, that's so crazy. Can you believe that? They become less of that, and instead we go, thank you. So I now know Gemma and I are probably going to be doing a retreat. Well, it's definitely a possibility because I was given this information today, and I had a confirmation. I was in deep meditation with Sarah in Reiki group, and I can hear and see what was coming in big letters. Yeah. Yep, exactly. We start seeing things. And Jess, you did my mediumship program as well. So wisdom is about shifting in the vortex, not just what you're learning from what I'm saying. It's about feeling it. It's about knowing it. It's about remembering it as well. So yeah, I certainly didn't really teach Jess much. I kind of just invited her to open up to what she already knew. So of course I do teach things. These words coming out of my mouth are teachings, but it's also kind of reminders of who you already are. So breathing in wisdom, breathing out love and gratitude. With love and gratitude and tapping into that and actually coming into your wisdom. And I'm not talking about what my friend Gemma talks about as light washing, which is going, oh, let's just kind of, you know, like ignore what's happening here. I'm not talking about that. I'm really talking about, you know, that's shadow work, which we will probably go into at some stage. But what I'm talking about is owning. I'm still talking about owning who you are, remembering who you are, remembering that core essence and that being, and know that success doesn't have to come from intelligence. It comes from wisdom. It comes from knowing who you are. It comes from making sure that you don't have the energy leaks, and that's why we did the quitting of things and the bringing in of things. That's why I've quit TV and alcohol, because I'm like, yeah, I just want a clean, pure vessel and a mind, and I want to come into this presence of me and the wisdom of who I am. And it's really important to, oh, Sarah, you are on here. It's awesome. Yeah, it's so cool that Jess was able to do that with you, because you are a Reiki master. And even for us Reiki, I'm not a Reiki master yet, but even for people who have done Reiki, even for people that have done every modality under the fucking sun, we must come back to the wisdom and not the, what else do I have to do? What else do I have to do? What else do I have to do? Because you'll know. You'll just get this intuitive hit, a sacral hit or a splenic hit, and you'll go, oh, I have to do that program. I have to do it. And it's a knowing. It's not a, should I do it? Should I do a pros and cons whether I should do it? It's a knowing. Yeah, it's even more important. It's a knowing of who you are and what it is you want to do. You follow the energy, not necessarily your brain. So let me know if this makes sense for you, because I know for a lot of you who have worked with me and you're in this area of expertise, it's like, you know, and it's just a lovely reminder. But for those of you who are like, what are you talking about? You know, just if you are stuck in this intellectual kind of mindset and you have got some mind viruses going on, you know, let us know. Pop it in the group, because we're here to contribute with each other. We've got like 180 members in this 21-day challenge, and it's day 2. So invite people, please. Definitely about following the energy for me. Yeah, for sure, Jess, for sure. And you're doing a great job at deconditioning, which is what this 3 weeks is actually about. Taking on information and remembering things on a more on a energetic basis, on a wise kind of coming back to on this cellular kind of who am I thing, you know. And I had to remember who I was, and it took a breakdown to do it. But you know, you can do this now by tapping in to your knowing. Yeah, I love my knowing and it feels good from the heart. Absolutely. Always choosing you. Okay, so breathing in wisdom, breathing out love and gratitude, coming back to your heart. And you know, I recommend doing this a few times a day, stopping and breathing in wisdom, because there is so much information around us right now. Why do you think we've got to cleanse these puppies? Because they pick up information all the time, even if it's an empty room. There's entities everywhere, there's like energies everywhere, we can feel them. So we're breathing in different types of energy as well, you know, so we're breathing that into our core. So when you breathe in wisdom and you invite the energies from the earth and from the moon, because it's been a full moon, and from the birds and from the people around you, and you're inviting wisdom in, and then you're breathing out love and gratitude for that, there's only getting wiser and remembering who you are. Like, there's no fail there, right? So thank you so much for being here on day 2. I really appreciate this presence. I love your energy. I want to know what your ahas are. Please share in the group, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.